Someone says, hashtag kill room. Someone else says, just rinse it off when you're done.
Truly, symbolism, Rima, eat what thou wilt.
And they force you to do things, and they photograph it, they film it. The whole purpose for that is to either blackmail you into staying with them or split your mind up so that you don't even remember who you are.
I love my job. I love my life. When you eat little baby's ice cream, you'll wink and nod and hug and high-five each other with great enthusiasm. This is a special time. We love to lick. We lick to love. We're love lickers.
A man named Russell E. Nelson, who was the personal photographer of the accused pedophile Lawrence E. King, Larry King, from the 1980s Franklin cover-up child abuse scandal in Nebraska, alleges that Hunter S. Thompson offered him $100,000 in 1998 to shoot a snuff film involving a child. Rusty says he turned the offer down. The snuff film, if you're unaware, is when someone's planned murder is videotaped for the sadistic enjoyment of the people who like to watch real-life murders. Another man named Paul Bonacci claimed that when he was a teenager in the late 1980s that he was forced to participate in a snuff film, and said that the man who videotaped it was named, quote, Hunter Thompson. What's even more disturbing is that Paul Bonacci says that this alleged snuff film was supposedly shot inside the Bohemian Grove, and he led his attorney, former state senator, author of the Franklin cover-up, John DeCamp, to the front gates of the Bohemian Grove in the mid-1980s. Now, everybody is familiar with the Bohemian Grove, seen the photos and seen the footage, but back in 1988, hardly anybody knew about this, and how could a young teenager have led somebody, his attorney, to the front gates?
Alright guys, let's do this thing. Thanks for coming early. It's much appreciated. Alright, with no further ado. Welcome to DarkDox Digest. Today is February 4th, 2025, and the U.S. has AIDS! I am your host, Christian Coffins. Oh boy, that's right, AIDS. I'm just gonna go ahead and play this now.
Everyone has AIDS. AIDS, AIDS, AIDS. AIDS, 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 AIDS. Everyone has AIDS. And so this is the end of our story. And everyone is dead from AIDS. It took from me my best friend, my only true pal, my only bright star. Well, I'm gonna march on Washington, lead the fight and charge the brigades. There's a hero inside of all of us. I'll make them see everyone has AIDS. My father, AIDS. My sister, AIDS. My uncle and my cousin and her best friend, AIDS. The gays and the straights and the whites and the spades. Everyone has AIDS. My grandma and my doggo blue. AIDS, AIDS, AIDS. The Pope has got it and so do you. AIDS, 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 come on everybody, we got quilting to do. AIDS, AIDS, We're gonna break down these barricades. Everyone has AIDS. AIDS, 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 AIDS,
Thank you. You know, I need more applause tracks. I think it'd be good for my ego. Yeah, USAID, Brown report. Vampires exposed to the light of day.
Today, staffers for the U.S. Agency for International Development, known as USAID, were told to stay out of the Washington, D.C. headquarters. USAID staffers said they tracked 600 employees who reported being locked out of the agency's computer systems overnight. USAID security chiefs were placed on leave after refusing to turn over classified material in restricted areas.
An unelected shadow government is conducting a hostile takeover of the federal government. Friday night, the so-called Department of Government Efficiency, led by billionaire Elon Musk, gained access to the Treasury Department's entire...
Wait, what do you mean so-called? It's what they're called. The president called them that. It's an official executive task force. What is this so-called? Is this a mutiny? Is this treason? This is Democrat Senator Chucky Schumer of New York. He's the minority leader.
Entire system of payments, including Social Security and Medicare benefits and Americans' tax refunds.
And
that's not true. And he knows that's not true. Look it up.
It's only a snapshot. That in and of itself is irrevocably discrediting and devastating the entire globalist, not just here, but worldwide, money laundering, political control system of the tax-free foundations, the NGOs, the CIA, the State Department, and their counterparts in other Western countries.
So what is USAID? When people hear the name USAID, they focus on aid. They focus on thinking like it's humanitarian work. But aid is not actually in the name of USAID. USAID stands for the United States Agency for International Development, not aid. It's not a charity. And international development is simply capacity building. It is local and regional capacity building done across the whole world, i.e. internationally. The primal id in USAID, international development, is about capacity building of assets that can be used by either the Pentagon, the State Department, or the CIA for their own activities. So if you're the Secretary of State and you were asked by the National Security Council or the President to do something in a different country, overthrow their government, how would you do that? And the first thing that I said is you would look at the assets that already exist in the country. Do we need new assets in addition to the ones that we currently have, or are the existing assets, can they achieve this simply by giving them enough money, giving them enough resources, giving them enough training, giving them enough support? One of the main ways that capacity building would be financed would be through USAID. USAID would say that it's doing something, funding a hospital system, funding universities, funding civil society organizations, funding media institutions, funding independent media in the region. Sorry, there's something in my eye. Independent media in the region on USAID payroll. And those institutions, those assets, would then be bigger and more powerful and more capable more capable of serving the State Department's goal, aka advancing U.S. national interests.
There are riots it's called the Maidan Rebellion in Ukraine, which we're not told that we are financing those riots. The newspapers never told us, our government never told us. USAID, which is a CIA front, put $5 billion into funding those riots. Those riots lead to a coup d'etat against the first democratically elected government of the Ukraine. It was a government that refused to choose sides and to say we're going to be on the side of the West. So we wanted them out. A month before that government is overthrown, Victoria Nuland, who's the part of the centerpiece of the neocon ideology and who is now a high-level official in the State Department, has a secret call with the U.S. ambassador, which is tape recorded and is now public, which anybody can go and look up, where she is picking the new cabinet for the Ukraine, which is which is a U.S. Western cabinet. So they're picking the new government a month before the old government is overthrown.
Is that how democracy? Is that democracy when Victoria Nuland picks her government?
In terms of sort of the process moving ahead, we want to keep the moderate Democrats together. The problem is going to be Tony Book and his guys. And, I'm sure that's part of what Yanukovych is calculating on all of this.
I think Yats is the guy who's got the economic experience, the governing experience. He's the guy, what he needs is Klitsch and Tony Book on the outside. He needs to be talking to them 4 times a week. I just think Klitsch going in, he's going to be at that level working for Yatsenyuk. It's just not going to work.
Trump didn't just freeze the $3 trillion in the NGO slush funds last week, and then some low-level federal judge blocked it for now. And Musk and Trump said, that's fine. We're already in control of the payment systems, and almost all this is totally illegal. And so we're just blocking all these payments ourselves at the executive level. And we're just going to expose it all to the light of day. See how you vampires like that.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now.
Yep. Lots of Doge happening. Shock revelation. USAID funding went to China for gain-of-function research on coronaviruses. Noted experts weigh in. Gateway pundit. State Department spokesman Matt Miller found himself in hot water during a press briefing September 2023 when confronted by reporter Sam Husseini about funding provided by the United States Agency for International Development, or USAID, to China for gain-of-function research on coronaviruses. Husseini asked Miller to clarify how much funding USAID had sent to work at the Wuhan Institute of Virology and its collaborator Ralph Barrick at the University of North Carolina. So you can read all that yourself, but there's a couple videos.
How much money went from USAID to the work at Wuhan and to their collaborator, Ralph Barrick, at the University of North Carolina to collect and make coronaviruses that are weaponized, that are more deadly?
So I, first of all, reject the implicit accusation in that question, and I do not have at my finger. I do not have at my fingertips the particular details of USAID.
Are you saying for certain? Are you saying for certain that no USAID money went to the Wuhan Institute of Virology? The question. Go ahead. No, please tell me. Are you stating that no USAID money went?
I am happy to take questions from those in this audience. I'm happy to answer them. I appreciate that they treat every person in this room, including myself, respectfully. I'd call on you. I'm now calling on someone else. Go ahead.
Me respectfully, please tell me, what are you denying?
Go ahead,
What
please.
is your denial? It's a non-denial denial.
Oh. Okay. Yeah, got a couple clips of that. I don't know. My spidey sense is going, that guy's shady business. EcoHealth worked at AHEAD, or ahead of funding when I worked there. They also did, I'm not sure what's an acronym or not anymore. Did this related to SARS-CoV-2 gain-of-function work at the WIV. In Pete's proposal to NIH, it is clearly stated that they leverage USAID funding to collect preliminary data before the funding was awarded. Shady dealings. I love it, man. Like, these agencies need to be audited. And the IRS, Elon's already tweeting about that. He had a poll. Let's see how it's going. X.com. I bet it's like the first thing that comes up. If you're on X, please, follow, like, whatever the hell you do these days, you kids. Sacred Owls Unite, that's me. I had other ones, they're still blocked. This is the newest, the latest, the greatest. And, but no, let's go to the home. And Elon Musk, Doge, yeah, there's the Chucky Schumer clip. Where's the poll? I want to see the poll. It was today that he posted it. Okay, he's on his own website a lot. I bet he has people do it for him. I bet he does it himself. I don't know. What do you guys think? We should have a poll. I don't know. There was a poll, and like pretty much 90-something% of people wanted an audit of the IRS. And then Ron Paul's calling for also the Federal Reserve, audit it, and then shut it down. Because the moment you audit it, you'll see they've been stealing trillions of dollars from us. And everything was their fault, dating all the way back. So that I'm looking forward to that. Daily Mail, co.uk. I don't need your little video. Donald Trump and Elon Musk. USAID closure has already taken a hefty hit to the BBC charity finances. Yeah, apparently like 30-something% of BBC's funding comes from us in the US. We ain't got no fucking queen, okay? Like, y'all need to stop taking our money. Yeah. Here we go. USAID donations to BBC charities since 2021. Here we go. In 2021, 2022, they did 358,000, of their gay money, whatever they call them, pounds. And then 2022 to 2023, it was 1.89 million. It's a big jump. And then another hefty jump to 2.6 million. What is that is in real money? Let me see. Let's see, pounds to USD at the current exchange. So that's okay, 3,200,000 more of ours than theirs, so they're up. That's not good. We need to fix that. And we need to stop giving them money. That's not our country. Gateway Hispanic. Trump cleaned downtown Manhattan in New York. What? Let's take a look.
Trump cleaned up Midtown Manhattan in New York City. I am literally telling you, every single day, right here where the Empire State Building is at, and Broadway 6th Avenue, right? They intersect there. This right here, this whole area, wrapped around left and right, you usually have your freaking illegals with the blankets out, selling like bootleg stuff.
Yeah.
It has been empty. Empty. Since Trump started deporting people. Like, rain, sleet, or snow. This whole block, that whole block over there, all this would be laid out with bootleg stuff by illegals. This whole strip, gone. I haven't seen them for about
the
week.
sidewalks look a lot cleaner from the last
side
time
as well.
I was there too.
This is incredible. Look at this.
Interesting. Very interesting. Mexican authorities arrest cartel boss El Rique after Trump tariff forces Mexico to secure border. Ricardo Gonzalez Sacida, a leader of the Mexican Cartel del Norte, was arrested in Nuevo Laredo, Mexico, Monday after the Mexican president agreed to immediately work with Trump to secure the border. Look at that. Yeah, well, they're playing ball. Arrest imminent. Acting D.C. U.S. Attorney Ed Martin announces incoming charges against individuals who threaten Elon Musk DOGE workers. Ed Martin did not name any names. He announced that arrests and any charges were coming. It is unclear which laws were violated. Let's see the statement. So the U.S. Attorney of D.C., our initial review of the evidence presented to us indicates that certain individuals and or groups committed acts that appear to violate the law in targeting DOGE employees, said Edward R. Martin, Jr., U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia. We are in contact with the FBI and other law enforcement partners to proceed rapidly. We also have our prosecutors preparing. Woo! All right. Yeah, we got some DOGE action going on. Yeah, there you go. And here's the letter. It was good to work with the DOGE team this weekend. We must keep all of our American government employees safe, and we must protect the American people's property. Anyone impeding others violating our laws. I recognize that some of you of the staff of DOGE have been targeted publicly. At this time, I ask that you utilize me and our staff to assist in protecting the DOGE work and the DOGE workers. Any threats, confrontations, and other actions in any way that impact the work may break numerous laws. Let me assure you this. We will pursue any and all legal actions against anyone who impedes your work or threatens your people. We will not act like the previous administration, who looked the other way as Antifa and BLM rioters, as well as thugs with guns, trashed our capital city. We will protect DOGE and other workers no matter what. Damn, they're bringing up everything. One last warning for you. Late last week, we indicated an economist who worked at the Fed for economic espionage for the communist Chinese. Please be very aware that there are those that are acting against our American people in every way. Refer to us with any questionable conduct or details that you find or notice. Please keep in touch. All the best. Interesting, because our guy Eric, he was on that beat January 6th saying like a lot of Chinese intelligence. Very interesting. Is Eric still here? Oh, here's Eric. He's below the display capture. All right. So that's that. They're naming names. I woke up and chose to crime. A political bombshell. Trump's DOJ declassified secret FBI documents proving Democrat operatives illegally designated conservative media outlets as terrorist organizations. The Chase Geyser from Infowars got a FOIA request back.
When you submit a FOIA request, you get a boilerplate release letter. And it just marks off specifically why information is redacted in the following documents that are given to you. So they provided me with 2 or 3 documents and these checkboxes as to why the information was redacted. So if we go to the section of this release letter, we can see that they redacted information to protect personnel privacy and information that could reasonably be expected to constitute an unwarranted invasion of personal privacy or could reasonably be expected to disclose the identity of confidential sources, including a state, local, or foreign agency or authority or any private institution which furnished information on a confidential basis, and in the case of record or information compiled by a criminal law enforcement authority in the course of a criminal investigation or by an agency conducting a lawful national security intelligence investigation. So basically the implication here is that information in this FOIA request was redacted to protect the identity of informants on Infowars, informants against Infowars over the course of the last several years, as you'll see. Now, enclosed after this release letter is a very simple document, an import form from the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Now, this form, as you can see, is dated 6/28/2019, but there's some very interesting information enclosed here, despite the fact that it's 90% redacted, as you can see. If you look down here in the middle of the document, you'll see that Infowars has been classified as a white, racially motivated extremist organization under a Type 3 assessment, which began on 12/10/2013.
White supremacists are some of the biggest threats to the country, according to a new report from the Department of Homeland Security.
The threat of violence by white supremacists is very real.
The assault on Black Americans has continued.
Pay attention, folks, because this is a problem that we need to confront. This virus of hate and white supremacy and white nationalism in our country is not done yet.
And it's happening amid this unrelenting wave of white supremacist motivated mass murder.
Most dangerous terrorist threat to our homeland is white supremacy. The most lethal terrorist threat in the homeland, white supremacists. The most lethal terrorist threat to the homeland today, white supremacy is terrorism.
We have seen a rise in white supremacy.
The number one threat to this country, domestic terrorism-wise, is white supremacy.
And I'm going to show you a little bit of our broadcast from December 10th, 2013, to give you a sense of what the FBI may have been listening to on the day that they classified us as a Type 3 assessment, which basically means that we're a national security threat.
But it was Obama saying, in fact, I forgot to tell you guys to look for this. McBreen saw it too. He was telling me about it this morning. He said, listen, it's a conspiracy by Republicans that we ever targeted the Tea Party or anybody with the IRS. That came out in Congress. Tens of thousands of audits, harassments, indictments, FBI, you name it, of libertarians, conservatives, gun groups, pro-life groups, Tea Party groups, Army manuals demonizing them. I mean, it's all out there. And that the IRS got caught lying about it. And then now we learn the FBI blocked investigations of it. And that not one communist, progressive, authoritarian group calling themselves liberal got audited. They were all given their tax-exempt status and were not investigated.
Now, after receiving this documentation, as you can imagine, I was very curious as to what a Type 3 assessment meant. And I asked ChatGPT and I asked Google, and I think that I finally got to the bottom of this information. A brief AI overview on a Google search says an FBI Type 3 assessment is a type of assessment that requires supervisory approval and documentation using electronic communication. The explanation is that the FBI can open an assessment on any person or organization, even if they don't have a criminal record. Assessments give the FBI the power to recruit informants, question people without revealing the agent's identity, search government and commercial databases, and conduct physical surveillance of a person's public movements. Now, you've heard reports over the course of the last several years, at least, that Alex Jones has been followed. I've been followed. I know Rob Agueros has been followed. I know for a period before Owen Schroyer went to prison, he was pulled over at least once a week right outside of our office. I was a couple of times within the same month as well. And so we've seen suspicious activity like this over the course of the years here at Infowars. We've seen bizarre behavior on some of our electronic devices, mouses that go haywire, things of that nature, as if our devices are being monitored or controlled remotely. And when I looked into more details, I saw some very interesting things. I realized that our Type 3 assessment status is something that was catalyzed less than 3 months after James Comey became the director of the FBI under the Obama administration in 2013.
How do these shameful comments of the President of the United States, his outright refusal to condemn white supremacy, dangerous white supremacy, affect the psychology of groups like the Proud Boys and other violent extremist groups like them, other white nationalist groups that we have seen conduct and carry out such violence? How does it affect the psychology of these groups?
It gives them license, and it makes them cool in the eyes of the people who make up that radioactive stew. And so it will attract more people to their warped view of the world and to their groups. It is a free pass to people that nobody wants in their communities.
And so I looked up the Domestic Investigations and Operations Guide from 2013, which was updated just a month after Comey was made the director of the FBI. to determine what was really going on with a Type 3 assessment. Now, this document in full is about 698 pages long, and I was able to find 19 pages within the document that described Type 3 assessments. And I'm not going to read all 19 pages to you, but I will read snippets for your information. 90-day reviews, as well as 30-day reviews and 60-day reviews on a rolling basis in order to keep us in a Type 3 assessment status. We have no evidence that our Type 3 status as a national security threat, as a white supremacist, racially motivated extremist organization threat, has been terminated. We actually believe that as of now, we're still classified as this national security threat and that we're still being watched, spied on by the FBI. So they check every 30, 60, and 90 days with a supervisor within the FBI to continue to keep us in this Type 3 assessment status, which we know that we were in for at least 6 years, from 2013 to 2019, and probably are still in today. And so we got based.
Yeah, so I mean they did a whole hour on this. I mean, it goes deep. But yeah, it's all coming out. It's fantastic. A lot of people I heard are getting different photo requests. So like, now there's going to be discovery, because like they said, they got like a 600-page, like, very redacted document where they're protecting the identities of the people that were, you know, pretty much harassing them for exercising their First Amendment, and behind their backs, without even being charged or like confronted about it, being deemed a white supremacist group. And you know, there's plenty of black people that have been involved with Infowars and are supporters of Alex Jones and Infowars. Alex, if you actually listen to the show, he's never said anything racist. He's pro-human. He is a human supremacist. If you are human, you're on his side. He is Team Humanity. Like, you know, him and Elon Musk, they coined that on one of those X spaces and stuff. But you know, he has one of the former leaders of the Black Panthers on all the time, and he's like a huge supporter. So, the hell are you guys? I mean, I mean, there's damages, you know, like all these legal attacks and stuff, and I mean, it's libelous. You know, there are damages. There's people that work at these companies, you know, whether it's like, you know, manufacturing and packaging, shipping and handling the supplements or the T-shirts, or, you know, it's like, you're hurting families. Like, you know, these people are just, you know, foaming at the mouth, like kicking down doors and pulling server cables out of the wall and stuff. It's like, the hell, you know, whether you love or hate Infowars, I mean, no one deserves that. That's my point. Confirmed, Kamala paid $100,000 to Cardi B and $58,000. Paid Obama $100,000 and Cardi B $58,000 to campaign for her. We got the receipts at Infowars.com. What do we got here? USA Air Force spy plane. Is that USAF or Air Force? Spy plane runs SIGINT operation near Cabo as U.S. preps for a potential cartel fight. Rah. Never been there. Bet the beaches are nice. War Monitor wrote on X, American military RC-135V Rivet Joint Surveillance plane has been taking a good look at cartel positions over the western coast of Mexico today, including in Sinaloa. Yeah, news to me. How did that end up there? All right, this is going to be a Redux Flash. They are feminist news and opinion, but like they have really shocking stuff. Psychologists who counseled minors on gender and sexually charged with possession of child pornography. Gross. There's an X post about it. Dustin Harfkin, a Calgary psychologist, has been charged by alerts, internet child exploitation, also ICE units, and that links to alert-ab.ca Here's the whole story here. It's heartbreaking. There's just so many of these cases. Notorious killer who murdered mother and 2 young daughters now identifies as transgender, sympathetically profiled by Newsweek. The sadistic killer serving life for the brutal murder of a mother and her 2 daughters has received a sympathetic profile in Newsweek that has sparked outrage. In the interview, Steve Hayes, who is now calling himself Linda May Lee, blamed his gender identity woes for the killings and promoted gender-affirming care for inmates. It's funny, I remember, I'm not going to name names here, but let's just call him Bushnaps. If you know, you know. Where, you know, he cheated on his girlfriend and, like, got drunk and, like, wrecked the house and did a bunch of horrible things. And I could go on. And then afterwards, they just came out as trans, and it's like, oh, I'm sorry, I was just going through gender dysmorphia. You know, it's like, it's not an excuse to, like, get away with stuff. Like, what are you, nuts? In Argentina, trans-identified male arrested after prostituting young girl to pedophiles. A trans-identified male in Argentina has been arrested following a month-long undercover operation into his clandestine bar and brothel. Carolina Juarez was reportedly the owner of the secretive business where multiple exploited women and young girls were forced to sell sex. The investigation into Juarez was first launched in October of last year by the National Directorate of Criminal Investigations, Argentina's law enforcement body in charge of managing investigations into organized crime, complex and federal crimes. Yep. Okay. Links in the description. And that brings us to the middle of the show. Alex Jones is under attack, as you've seen. And you got Bloomberg and these gun grabber groups trying to steal Infowars. Well, this is the lifeboat, thealexjonesstore.com, that's run by Bigley. And so they're an affiliate. They can't touch this money. It's a separate stream for the new Alex Jones Network. It's not affiliated with Infowars. If they do end up getting Infowars, which the Infowars store is still currently open. I'm not an affiliate. I don't get paid, but you should get that X2 while it's still $29.99. That's the last batch of it. It's a great product, and it's a great value. For $30, getting that much nascent iodine, it's why my skin looks so good. I mean, it's just, it's dynamite. But we're an affiliate at thealexjonesstore.com/DarkDox. I get 10% if you buy something, and that really helps me out. You know, do these things for you guys. And support Alex Jones, of course. They got some cool new stuff. I just got 2 subscriptions of the Echinacea Sea Moss, Cumin Power, Biopurine, and Honey Powder Atomic Defense. It's $48.74, but if you sign up for the Alex Jones VIP program, it's $30 a month, and you get $40 in store credits and up to 40% off. And so I just got it and got it on the subscription. They're only $25 a bottle. Like, if you go through, so you'll get $40 in store credit for your $30 every month, which will pay for that, and, you know, a little bit of a t-shirt, or, you know, you can get the knife. We got Patriotic Trump Valentine's Day card bundles. You get 5 cards in the bundle of funny Trump stuff. I really like this Band.video Blockbuster video. I'm a 90s kid, so, you know, they're marketing to me. I think I'm going to spend my $40 store credit next month on that, and I only paid $30 for it. And if I get anything else, I get up to 40% off. And they're giving away they've already given away 3 trucks, I think, 2 or 3. But they're giving away this. I really like this 4x4 Raptor right here, and $10,000 cash. I think they're still doing that. Yeah, plus $10,000 cash. And So whenever you spend $1, it's 10x entries. There's no purchase necessary. You can just go to the alexjonesstory.com/darkdox and put in your email address, and you get 1 to 5 credits. I forget what it is. So yeah, it's good. They got supplements, they got t-shirts, they got knives, they got all kinds of stuff. The alexjonesstory.com/darkdox. Also, something else that's going away pretty soon is darkdox.me/shop. This is going to be the last time you can get any of these shirts. We're still going to be doing the thumb drives on the new store when it opens, but we're still working on that behind the scenes. We got MP4 players and projectors with micro SD cards that have all of the Alex Jones films, all of the DarkDox films, and a bunch of other amazing films and podcasts and PDFs. We got vinyl records, we got vinyl stickers, we got t-shirts, and Blu-rays, comic books that come with CDs, all about the Franklin cover-up and Bohemian Grove and the New World Order and the pedophiles that they're running scared. It's really nice that we've been doing this for so long, and now we get to see the fruits of our labor, that there's now arrests and a lot of eyes on what's going on with, John Podesta, how you feeling? Not so good? Not so good? Chucky Schumer looks nervous. Good times. USAID, Belly of the Beast. This is John Bound.
The establishment never thought this stuff would come out. They thought this would just go on forever, and then the country would go totally bankrupt, and the very same central banks that have gotten control of our government would then come in and take full control.
I am proud to launch USAID's first ever lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender, queer, and intersex inclusive development policy. The policy is a blueprint for USAID staff and partners around the world to champion LGBTQI+ inclusive development and the human rights of all LGBTQI+ people through our work.
Through USAID over the past several years, these are some of the insane priorities that organization has been spending money on. $1.5 million to advance DEI in Serbia's workplaces, $70,000 for a production of a DEI musical in Ireland, $47,000 for a transgender opera in Colombia, $32,000 for a transgender comic book in Peru. I don't know about you, but as an American taxpayer, I don't want my dollars going towards this crap, and I know the American people don't either, and that's exactly what Elon Musk has been tasked by President Trump to do, to get the fraud, waste, and abuse out of our federal government. Thank you, guys.
As my colleague said, it's not only a gift to our adversaries, but trying to shut down the Agency for International Development by executive order is plain illegal.
I mean, my frustration with USAID goes back to my time in Congress. It's a completely unresponsive agency. It's supposed to respond to policy directives of the State Department, and it refuses to do so.
We talked about Trump wanting to be a dictator on day one, and here we are. This is what the beginning of dictatorship looks like.
Let me get this straight. Fauci's NIAID and USAID sent over $40 million in U.S. taxpayer support to scientists in Wuhan who was working on bat coronavirus research, who also became patient zero for COVID-19, which they also then owned the vaccine patents for. Yeah, premeditated.
Ms. Powers, did USAID fund coronavirus research in Wuhan, China?
We did not fund gain-of-function research,
That's not the
as
question.
you know.
The question is, did you fund coronavirus research in Wuhan, China?
Before my time, there was the PREDICT program with which you're familiar, which ended in China in 2019.
Yeah, this is a $200 million program, and the GAO has also identified that some of these grants went directly to the Wuhan Institute of Virology, where there is a suspicion that the lab leak began the pandemic. Has USAID awarded funds to the Academy of Military Medical Sciences in China?
Not to my knowledge, but I'd have to get
I think the answer is once again yes. GAO has found that there have been subawards of NIH money, as probably as well as USAID money, that went to the Academy of not just medical research, military medical research in China.
USAID is clearly in the job of trying to bring about regime change. It has secret bank accounts, shell companies.
USAID gets $50 billion a year in U.S. taxpayer money. That's a larger overt fund than the CIA has.
USAID perhaps is the new CIA.
Have we ever tried to meddle in other countries' elections?
Oh, probably.
USAID is a key component of the U.S. government's regime change operations worldwide. USAID spends billions of dollars every year propping up NGOs overseas that function as shadow governments, eating away at elected governments that the U.S. interventionists want to overthrow.
Yep.
Behind most U.S. foreign policy disasters overseas, you will see the fingerprints of USAID. From Ukraine to Georgia and far beyond, USAID is meddling in the internal affairs of foreign countries, something that would infuriate Americans if it was happening to us.
It's an excellent graph of U.S. foreign aid since 1946 compared to other countries and showing how it escalates, but it's not really aid to countries, it's a money laundering operation.
While other networks lie to you about what's happening now, Infowars tells you the truth about what's happening next.
John Bound's been crushing it with those reports. I mean, they're just like, that's what you need. You need like something that's like 3 to 5 minutes, bam, 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 which by the way, what happened to Greg Reese? He was putting out 2 or 3 a day, and they were just amazing. And for years, so I hope he's all right. Like since the new year, like Greg Reese has kind of dropped off, so I'm a little worried about him. But I hope he's doing something fun. And it's good to unplug and mental health and all that. I mean, how long has it been since DarkDox Digest has been on like this? Never. that's how long. Data Republican has a whole lot of information about what's really interesting about they have flow charts of where all the money's going. Yeah, here we go. I think I have to go all the way up. There's a lot of good stuff on here, but I wanted to focus on one in particular. Was it this page? This isn't the one, but this is A1. Bill Kristol. This is Deep State is far preferable to Trump State. Yeah, Bill Kristol. That if you don't know who that is, look up Project for a New American Century: Rebuilding America's Defenses. Hell, I'll do it. Let's see if I go like this. And then Control Alt Tab. No, yes, and no. That's no Control Shift. Control Tab. Control Tab. No. Okay, cool. Right. So Control Alt Tab. Yeah, well, that's fine. Project for a New American Century. Rebuilding America's Defenses. No. PNAC. Well, look up that document. That's the one where they say, like, we need a new Pearl Harbor in order to gather public support for the war in Iraq. So a new Pearl Harbor as in a false flag operation. Yeah, good stuff. I am not using an ad blocker. I mean, I am, but I whitelisted you guys. Senate committee advances Tulsi Gabbard's nomination as Intel chief. Yes. Oh, you're dumb ads. Tulsi Gabbard survived the crucial Senate Intelligence Committee vote on Tuesday after her nomination to be President Trump's Director of National Intelligence appeared to be in jeopardy in a 9-8 vote. The Senate Intelligence Committee advanced Gabbard's nomination to full Senate. The vote fell along party lines. Republicans on the panel who were seen as potential no votes began to drop their objections Monday, with Senate Suzanne Collins of Maine saying that Gabbard had addressed her concerns and shared her vision of downsizing the Office of Director of National Intelligence. Senator Todd Young of Indiana announced Tuesday he would back Gabbard after he secured commitments that will advance our national security. So things are looking up. Tomorrow's episode at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is called Confirm, because that's what we need to do. We need to confirm Tulsi, RFK Jr., and Kash Patel. Daily Wire. Tom Homan reveals staggering drop in illegal border crossings. Border czar Tom Homan announced over the weekend that Trump administration had seen a dramatic drop-off in illegal border crossings since taking over, and telling the world that the border is closed. Homan made the revelation during a Sunday interview on Fox News, Sunday Morning Futures, after the administration had been in power for nearly 2 weeks. Quote, "We've got the numbers this morning. The crossings on the border are down 93%. That's bigger decrease than under the first Trump administration. 93%. Oh, walls don't work. Borders don't." It's like when you are the parent and you're like, "No, we said no." That's what we're doing here. Like, we're just being the grown-ups and, "No, you can't cross our border." I love it. The People's Voice, USAID exposed U.S. tax dollars secretly funded COVID-19 develop of biolab cover-up. As we discussed earlier, this is from the People's Voice.tv. That tab snuck away from the beginning. Yeah. So before pre-show, I do I put links in like a little notepad file in case you're wondering or care while I'm at work. And when I see something interesting, I look it up really quick, find a couple articles on it, throw it over there, and then that's what I link in the description. So everything I cover is in order, more or less, down there. Some things I kind of ad lib and add, and some things are extra and I don't get to them, but whatever. It's like the general idea of the show. And then, so I tab everything out ahead of time so I can queue up videos and stuff. I try to anyway. And, see if they have ad. Now I'm allowing ads, because I was for the first 15 episodes or whatever, I was like, I'm not even going to cover anything from the New York Times because, but more and more are you have to turn your ad blocker off. I used to be able to Control R to refresh a page and then interrupt the refresh right when the text gets there, and then it wouldn't load that. But the ad blocker things on the websites are getting a little smart, so I got to figure out. I guess I got to allow the ads in order to read stuff. But yeah, that's another article on that. USAID won't give details on $4.67 million grant to Wuhan lab collaborator EcoHealth Alliance. See, that's what I'm talking about. Going to a website in 2025. No. Yes, to continue reading, now you got to subscribe. Washington Examiner, fuck you. DarkDox is never going to do any of this shit, and I'm working on a new static HTML version. I'm going back to 1995. I'm really excited, guys. Goodbye to WordPress. Goodbye to plugin updates. You can go fuck yourself with all of that. I'm going back to the 90s with the static HTML. It's not so static. There's some fun animation stuff. I'm learning how to, I'm getting back. I'm using Microsoft Front Page, guys. This is serious business. 11 insane things your tax dollars paid for thanks to USAID.
I am exceptionally upset.
We played that. She's always exceptionally upset.
You're now the head of USAID. The head of DOGE, Elon Musk, called USAID a criminal organization and added that it is time for it to die. Do you agree with that?
They have basically evolved into an agency that believes that they're not even a U.S. government agency. that they are a global charity, that they take the taxpayer money and they spend it as a global charity, irrespective of whether it is in the national interest or not in the national interest. One of the most common complaints you will get if you go to embassies around the world from State Department officials and ambassadors and the like is USAID is not only not cooperative, they undermine the work that we're doing in that country. They are supporting programs that upset the host government for whom we're trying to work with on a broader scale and so forth. So they're completely unresponsive. They just don't consider that they work for the U.S. They just think they're a global entity and that their master is the globe and not the United States. And that's not what the statute says, and that's not sustainable.
Can it be?
The sad thing is, what he just said is correct. They don't work for the U.S. They're supposed to work for the U.S., but they don't work for us. We hired them, apparently. I don't remember hiring them, but somebody hired them that was an elected official that we were supposed to be represented. But these guys are just throwing our money to all these other countries that, again, why? Guys, why? Give me an honest answer in the chat. Comment on this video. Also, like this video. Subscribe to Sacred Owls if you haven't already. And then, kick the notification bell, Just, I don't like notifications. But if you do the notification things, I'll give you a reminder. Because we're here Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
Reformed, or does it need to die?
Well, that was always the goal, was to reform it. But now we have rank insubordination. Now we have basically an active effort where their basic attitude is we don't work for anyone. We work for ourselves. No agency of government can tell us what to do. So the president made me the acting administrator. I've delegated that power to someone who's there full time, and we're going to go through the same process at USAID as we're going through now at the State Department. I think there are this is not about getting rid of foreign aid. There are things that we do through USAID that we should continue to do that makes sense. And we'll have to.
Also, again, the aid in USAID is not it's an acronym. It's not, there is no aid.
Decide, is that better through the State Department or is that better through something, a reformed USAID? That's the process we're working through. There are things that are happening at USAID that we should not be involved in funding.
Yep. Let's see here. Seriously, dailymail.co.uk, hot mess, and I am not going to go to your website ever again. Now I know these ads are crazy. I can't even. My ADD is oh yeah, right. So the reason why I even did this. These ads are insane. And they're just constant and blinking and moving. NFL to make controversial Super Bowl decision over racism message with Donald Trump attending the Super Bowl. So I didn't know this. I don't sports. I like tennis, but I like playing it. I don't even watch it. But apparently in American football, they have end racism on each side of the stadium, which is nice, but it's kind of odd. But yeah, so apparently they're removing that, and Trump is going to be the first president in a minute to go to the Super Bowl, and I'm not really sure why. Seems like a normal thing for an American president to go to American Super Bowl, again, that sounds like a nightmare to me. I can't imagine. If you bought me tickets to the Super Bowl and a hotel and everything, I'd be like, oh, I guess we're going to do that. No. No. I wanted to get this in the bucket because it was between days and stuff, and it's been 8 days since this little chair.
And now that we know that we have vetting problems with a lot of these refugee programs, we absolutely cannot unleash thousands of unvetted people into our country.
These people are vetted.
Good.
These people are vetted.
Just like the guy who planned a terrorist attack in Oklahoma a few months ago, he was allegedly properly vetted, and many people in the media and the Democratic Party said that he was properly vetted. Clearly he wasn't. I don't want my children to share a neighborhood with people who are not properly vetted. And because I don't want it for my kids, I'm not going to force any other American citizens' kids to do that either.
No, and that was a very particular case. It wasn't clear if he was radicalized when he got here or while he was living here.
I don't really care, Margaret. I don't want that person in my country, and I think most Americans agree with me.
The tactic is tried and true. You take a
that became a meme. Now it's kind of like the old 50s guy, like, frankly, dear, I don't give a damn. But now it's like, I don't care, Margaret. Hilarious. JD Vance, I mean, what a gem. But yeah, also that Margaret Brennan, let's look her up. Margaret Brennan. Probably butchered the spelling of that. Yeah. It says American Journalist. Like, so if you look up her IMDb, she's an actress. Let's look up her IMDb. So yeah, she's only done Face the Nation, Dismantling Democracy, a miniseries, a TV series, CBS special news report. I mean, she's a prostitute. Like, she doesn't really, she's not an expert on any of these things. Like, why is she arguing with the vice president? And that about does it for tonight's episode. With 3 minutes to spare, look at that. So tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to be doing them letting them lock out workers and read email. And that's going on right now, which is really crazy. And we have a playlist that I created here at YouTube, link in the description. If you have a website, throw this playlist on there, because I'm updating it with every episode, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And it'd be really cool if you did that. And send us yours. We'll post it at darkdox.com. And then darkdox.me once we finally close up shop over there. If you're on X, Sacred Owls Unite. If you're on Rumble, DarkDox. If you're on BitChute, DarkDox. If you're on Cash App, buy me a chicken dinner. This is Christian Coffins saying, beware, take care, have a great night, see you tomorrow, and beware.
Jersey Joe, and you're listening to the DarkDox Digest, DQ, with your host, Christian Coffins.